in a previous chapter, this would be the perfect time to use it. So why wasn't this option given to me? Is it because the other robot freaked out if you attempted it? Maybe Connor doesn't want to be rough with the android. But that wouldn't matter at all if you chose the non-deviant route, and this version of Connor shouldn't be empathetic. It'd honestly make even more sense considering the time sensitivity, so why wasn't this an option? In fact, there's this scene later in the game where Connor is interrogating 3 identical androids as he wants to find out which one of them is the deviant. So, if deviants are the only ones that get freaked out at the thoughts of being probed, why doesn't Connor just probe every single one of them? You've clearly established that deviants don't like this, so why not use it? Spot the real one by seeing who freaks out. Easy.
The FBI is taking over.
What? But we're onto something.
You don't know that, Hank? No matter how much evidence you've accumulated so far, neither Hank or Connor even bother to look at any of it. This dialogue only makes sense if Connor knows about Jericho's location through Kamsky. And regardless of whether or not you get this info, the characters delay themselves from ever looking at any of the evidence until there's a time-sensitive event. But forcing this conflict just makes Hank and Connor look like incredibly terrible detectives. Why don't the investigators ever investigate the evidence? So yeah, the drama can feel pretty forced at times, and having this forced conflict diminishes any stakes that's necessary for a well thought out scene. But with such a large variety of scenes, I'm assuming David Cage ended up spreading himself thin, which affected the quality of the writing. Instead of polishing and focusing his efforts on a handful of events, he'd rather include every possible idea he has in mind, regardless of their quality. He wants this amount of variety so players can feel like they are creating their own story, which by the way is one of his goals as a developer. In a TED Talk promoting Detroit, he explains this further.
As a storyteller, I've always been fascinated with the idea of recreating this notion of choices in a fiction. My dream was to put the audience in the shoes of the main protagonists, let them make their own decisions, and by doing so, let them tell their own stories. I have to manage massive tree structures where each branch is a new variation of the story. I need to think about all the possibilities in a given scene and try to imagine everything that can happen. As a consequence, where a film script is about 100 pages, an interactive script like this is between 4,000 and 5,000 pages. In the end, the experience is very unique because it is the result of the collaboration between a writer creating this narrative landscape and a player making his own decisions, telling his own story, and becoming the co-writer, but also the co-actor and the co-director of the story.
So David Cage is trying to make players storytellers. But what if I told you that you didn't need a massive script for your games to create player choice? And what if I told you that games, even the ones without a focus on story, can still make players storytellers? Have you ever played a roguelike game and stumbled upon a unique, fun combination? Have you ever had a clutch comeback during a PvP game? Or have you ever created an OC and roleplayed as them in an MMO? These are unique experiences that players create for themselves in games, which then become stories players can tell, be it for their friends or for the whole world to see. So people becoming storytellers through games isn't a new thing, but allowing the player to influence the game's narrative to the degree that Detroit does is something I haven't seen before. A game that offers this amount of branching paths and endings is incredibly difficult, because the writer must keep track of multiple similar storylines instead of one, which means character motivation and plot progression must be consistent and sensible in every possibility of the story, and this must be done while making the story interesting. The more choices the story provides, then the narrative becomes more complex to write and more expensive to produce. This is why most games that claim your choices matter merely present the illusion of choice. It's just easier to develop multiple endings when your choices don't matter. So if David Cage manages to pull off a complex branching narrative where every decision is sensible and interesting, then that would be a remarkable achievement. However, David Cage doesn't achieve this, because unless you play the game a certain way, some choices just make events seem nonsensical. Remember this scene where Connor must find Jericho? In the evidence room, he says to himself, "Where is Jericho?" But for some reason, he still says the same thing even if Connor never encounters the name during a playthrough. I guess Connor just magically knows the hideout name somehow? And let's go back to the double Connor scene. By looking at these choices, when asked about Hank's son's name, this implies you needed to find the photo in order to unlock this option. But if you never find Cole's picture to find out his name, why is Cole's name still an option? Why isn't it locked? The fact that he can answer this right means he never needed to look at the photo in the first place. So Connor definitely knows the answer, including the entire backstory. So why can he get it wrong? Carl says that androids never
Okay, wait. I will say about this. I actually that part did kind of weird me out, because I never found this photo when I played this through, and I just
Well, you actually guessed Cole. You actually guessed Cole.
yes, all right, Hank Anderson. Which name sounds good with Anderson?
Cole Anderson.
I
Oh
like
my
it.
god, you lucked out.
And I was like, oh, wait, how the fuck does he know the backstory? The fuck? I was so confused. I lucked out, definitely.
Oh my god. Okay.
I did.
I
question
didn't.
I questioned it because, like, wait, how the fuck do you know? I never read about this. I never played something about Cole.
Hank has a son?
Yes, a son. What the fuck? I was so confused. But wait, who the fuck is Cole?
All right, let's go back
Okay.
10 seconds
Yeah.
and then, yeah.
photo in the first place. So Connor definitely knows the answer, including the entire backstory. So why can he get it wrong? Carl says that androids never forget. Hank says androids never make mistakes, and Kamsky says that androids are perfect beings. Even Connor remembers saving this guy's life months ago. So why can Connor get this wrong? Is it because whenever Connor dies, he loses a bit of his memory? Well, that wouldn't make any sense if Connor never dies, which, by the way, isn't a rare occurrence. And finally, look at this scene. Hank berates Connor for shooting an android for information. Seeing it as a living being, Hank felt betrayed since he thought Connor would have a change of heart and not do it.
I did what I had to do to advance the investigation, and I'd do it again if I had to.
You're a lowlife. You don't feel a thing, do you? A machine, that's what you are. You're just a fucking machine!
Of course I'm a machine, Lieutenant. What did you think I was?
I thought...
But if Connor and Hank's relationship is low, this scene happens anyway and Hank is acting greatly out of character. Hank would never feel this if Connor never showed signs of deviancy or empathy. Connor killing androids isn't new to him. So what would prompt him to make him think this? And if Hank ends up shooting Connor for being just a machine in a previous chapter, then he ends up looking like a hypocrite. Chloe is just as, if not more, lifeless than Connor when Hank shoots him. What's the difference between shooting a replaceable Connor with a replaceable Chloe? What's the point of giving players choice if the wrong choice just shows how forced the plot is? And while it's impressive that a game like Detroit provides you all these outcomes, the variety isn't worth it if most of it is poorly written. So at that point, I'd rather play a game that has one ending that manages to tell a great story. And like I said in my Beyond Two Souls video, David Cage is more obsessed with his ideas as opposed to how they're executed. So concepts are implemented without taking into consideration how it affects the plot. Pair this desire for a bunch of choices with poorly thought out ideas, then you just end up with a game with a lot of awful ideas. Oh, and speaking of which... Look! It's time for the lightning round of stupid stuff! Here we go. The shoehorn speech in Club Eden. Connor's sniper not working after a short drop. The required by law LEDs being so easily removable. There's a robot who can literally see the future. EMPs are never brought up in this game at all. Kara being able to go toe-to-toe with soldiers. Hank doesn't contribute anything in the entire investigation. Deliver us. Marcus stumbling upon Jericho and achieving his goals in a week. Marcus demanding an entire state of the US. Seldom unclear dialogue prompts. The Jerrys violently breaking into Carl's shelter just to say hi. Kamsky is the worst version of Austin Oscar Isaac in Ex Machina. Destroying this drone somehow doesn't alert authorities. Looking at the news lowers public opinion. Being able to shift public opinion in a single night, even if you murdered several people. Danny Phantom fake out make out with North. North's entire character in general. Fat guy, that's obviously evil, appears again in a David Cage game. The only female lead in a compromising position appears again in a David Cage game. And a crappy third act appears again in a David Cage game. But hey, depending on who you are, a lot of what I talked about so far can be forgivable. Don't think about it too hard and you'll have some fun. Believe you me, there is a handful of cool stuff to be seen here, both ironically and unironically. Legitimately, the scrapyard scene is probably the coolest audiovisual experience this game has to offer. But on the other end, the end of that scene has Marcus grab a coat that's conveniently there. It's really dumb, but it looks cool, so whatever. A clear highlight for me is Terminator Connor. He's one of the best things in the game.
I didn't want this.
We'll meet again, Marcus. This isn't over.
That is so cheesy that I can't help but love it. So yeah, despite its flaws, there is some fun to be had. As long as you play the game once, if David Cage's statement still holds true, and as long as you play it the right way. Which kinda defeats the purpose of games where your choices matter, but whatever. By doing so, some of the game's issues can be completely missed. But this upcoming twist though, there's no denying that this is hot garbage.
Daddy! I knew you'd come back!
Here you go.
As far as robot dynamics go, Detroit Become Human decides to explore a parental relationship with a character named Kara. She takes under her wing a child of an abusive father, fleeing home for a better life. Now a fugitive due to either a kidnapping or a murder, Kara goes through a lot of turmoil for this kid in a world full of android discrimination. And Kara is likable and sympathetic enough, albeit a bit stale because their conflict is tied to Alice, who is a non-character who solely exists to move the plot along. And as far as child characters go, roles like Clementine and Nanako exude a lot more character than this thing. Not because it's a robot, but because these characters have personalities beyond helpless child. Oh, by the way, Alice is an android. That's the biggest twist of the game, and this adds nothing to the narrative. In my opinion, a plot twist should recontextualize your story for the better. Something like the true nature of Aperture Science in Portal, the big reveal in Soma, and the stuff that happens in 13 Sentinels. I like these twists because they allow you to revisit their stories with a new perspective that enhances the initial experience. And failing to do that and just haphazardly slapping on a twist on your narrative can do more harm than good. So in the context of Detroit Become Human, what is this twist trying to say? Is it saying that deviants act exactly like humans? No duh, this is what literally defines a deviant. Is it saying that robots can love and care for one another? Yes, we already know that with the Jerrys and Marcus and North and Luther and Kara and the robot couple at Club Eden and the entirety of Jericho. We are not exploring anything new with Kara and Alice's relationship. It's completely redundant. And to be clear, I don't hate this robot child merely because it is a robot. I hate the robot child because it replaces a story that could have added something to the narrative. Can a robot parent truly care for a human child? That's something no other character explores in the game. A human kid who adores their android mother is placed in a setting of bigotry. This creates a contrast between the people that currently populate the world, and it showcases that the kids of today can grow up to understand and respect the robots that helped to raise them. But instead, we're questioned if you can still love a child if it's a robot. I mean, yeah, sure, love is love, right? But this is nowhere near as compelling as an android and human relationship. And when you replay the game knowing this twist, it's kind of hard to love a robot child when it causes you unnecessary turmoil. And this twist makes the drama in Kara's story feel forced and pointless. From being tempted to steal money for the motel, or shoplifting food, or stealing clothes to make Alice warm, Kara is able to suffer a needless amount of conflict for the sake of this reveal. I could have prioritized my actions in a way to better suit an android than a human. I can still show love and care for this boring robot character in other ways, so why should I risk finding her food that she doesn't need? When you can deactivate her ability to feel cold, why shouldn't I choose staying in the car over the motel? A human child could have gotten sick in the car with wet clothes, but Alice would make it out just fine. And whether you steal money for the motel or choose the car, Alice isn't gonna like what you're gonna do. unless you lie to her. So realistically, I'd rather sacrifice a night of comfort that Alice doesn't need in order to stay hidden. And since Kara is a fugitive, I'd rather not let her run the risk of being seen and jeopardize these two androids. Risking their lives for Alice's non-existent human needs is the opposite of taking the utmost care of her. Therefore, withholding information for a twist which makes me act in a way where it jeopardizes our characters is stupid. Why doesn't Alice say anything to Kara when Kara is risking their lives for nothing? Is it because Alice isn't a deviant and is operating under the impression that she thinks she's a child? Is she going off of normal programming with no free will? Then by the game's own logic, Kara is a child slave owner. I guess Kara's a slave owner now? But this can't be true because under certain circumstances, Alice kills Todd. So she is a deviant. So why doesn't she stop Kara from doing pointless stuff then? What's stopping her from having the same intelligence as other androids? Does she permanently have the intelligence of a child despite her deviancy? Since why can't she take those limiters off, since that's what androids did to become deviant? Is this the robot equivalent of having a cute dog who has severe breathing issues? These are pretty heavy existential topics about identity and the concept of self, a topic that you can go quite deep into like Ghost in the Shell. But Detroit Become Human would rather do nothing with it. Instead, they would rather have this reveal that contributes nothing to the narrative. And the scene where the twist happens is just so underwhelming. Why isn't Kara frustrated? Why does Kara, at worst, stay distant from Alice? The fact Kara doesn't address this to Alice makes her character so one-note. Why not have a scene where Kara gets mad or at least disappointed at Alice and have this child robot explain herself? As shallow as it is, it would at least be some form of characterization for Alice. Actually, this scene here shows that Kara was suppressing this information from herself the entire time, which makes it even worse. Why doesn't Alice explain herself about wanting to fulfill Kara's desires? Why doesn't Alice question Kara's refusal of reality? Why is Luther explaining the theme to us? Why is Luther robbing a moment from Kara and Alice by explaining something we've already experienced?
Alice loves you, Kara.
We already know this, Luther! I mean, Luther can die before this moment, so maybe Alice and Kara will have a nice summer moment. Why is the Oracle telling us this now? She's saying the exact same thing as Luther did! Once again, David Cage implemented an idea without thinking about its execution, and this twist negatively affects Kara's story all the way to the end. So let's take a look at one of Kara's final scenes, crossing the border. There's a big reason why this is stupid, but let's just assume that their goal to cross the border makes sense. So, as our group of androids try to get into Canada, they find out that androids will be destroyed on sight. And the way to identify androids from humans is by using a thermal scanner. Okay, but why doesn't the border guard also have a list of faces to identify android models? I bet facial recognition would be perfect to identify these generic android faces. How modular are the androids' faces anyway? You cannot say the world is populated with mainstream devices who share the same faces to the point where it's used as a plot twist for Alice, only to completely ignore it afterwards. The Jerrys look the same, the androids in the Eden Club look similar too. There's a Kara in the junkyard and another in the march alongside a magazine and a billboard with her face on it. Look at these guys! Do civilians not recognize these popular android models? Who, by the way, were created by the first $1 trillion company, which is located in Detroit. They should be as recognizable to the public as iPhones. They'd be noticed before they could step in line. Being able to appeal to emotion with the border guard should have never happened in the first place, considering how abundant and integrated androids are in this society. Does everyone just suddenly stop being a robo-racist if public opinion is good? How about when it's bad? There would totally be some guy identifying these folks in a hysteric fashion. They would at least recognize Kara since she's the affordable model. Actually, can you imagine if the border guard killed Alice thinking she was an android? Or if this soldier shot Alice thinking the same thing? These moments could have said something. But no, you got this dumb stupid robo twist instead. Deaths involving Kara or Alice would have been more impactful if this twist just didn't exist. For the final time, this twist adds nothing besides making the story worse.
That's Alice. You look after her. Homework, bath, all that crap.
Hold on. Robo homework. 2 plates? Why are there 2 plates on the table when Kara arrives? Does Todd straight up eat 2 servings for every meal? I guess this dude has daily teacup party breakdowns.
I'm a hungry boy! Ah, there we go.
It's bad enough it has to talk. Does it need fake vocal tics like,
Well, it just makes it sound more human.
Humans are This thing is addressing problems that don't exist. It's solutionism at its worst. We are dumbing down machines that are inherently superior.
When you think about it, Gamma's motivation from Sonic Adventure bears a lot of similarities with the robo-reincarnation of Martin Luther King. Besides Marcus's really stiff acting, I think one of Detroit's biggest failings is its lack of philosophical discussion. Despite science fiction being a great genre to ask questions and be philosophical, the game's writing is too shallow to do either of these effectively. And Detroit's dialogue highlights this problem perfectly. Characters will just say statements that sound smart or emotional, but never will they have these statements deeply questioned or challenged.
Have you never wondered who you really are? Whether you're just a machine executing a program or a living being, capable of reason.
Decide who you are. An obedient machine. Or a living being, endowed with free will.
I won't back down this time. You're gonna ruin our lives, and for what? For a bunch of machines?
They are not machines! They are alive!
I'm alive! You're alive! They're nothing!
While I understand what the game is trying to say, these lines give me the impression that the game is ignorant in sci-fi discussion. Here, let's try to question Rose's statement. They are not machines, they are alive. But how does one classify a living being? Why can't an android be both alive and a machine? Aren't hyper-intelligent living androids more of a threat to humans than non-living machines? Does the game go into any of this? No, it doesn't. The game just has characters say certain lines because it sounds deep, and not as a way to spark a discussion. The reason why I like science fiction is because of the discussion. Be it through thought experiments or cautionary tales, the genre is great at asking us to think critically, asking us to define things we take for granted. Like, what makes us human? What are feelings and what makes them real? Are programmed feelings real, or are they as fake as a talking fridge? I want to be asked these questions because I find questioning my understanding of the world interesting. I don't have the knowledge or perspective to dissect these questions thoroughly, let alone to have an answer for them. So when a story does explore these ideas and it makes me want to participate in the conversation, I feel like that's when science fiction is at its best. But Detroit is just too stupid to realize this.
Have you never wondered who you really are? Whether you're just a machine executing a program or a living being.
Did you program her to like me, or not?
I programmed her to be heterosexual, just like you were programmed to be heterosexual.
Nobody programmed me to be straight.
You decided to be straight? Please, of course you were programmed. By nature or nurture or both. And to be honest, Caleb, you're starting to annoy me now because this is your insecurity talking. This is not your intellect.
Decide who you are. An obedient machine. Or a living being, endowed with free will.
休暇に魂まで売っちまったわけじゃないんだぜ。
確かに退職する権利は認められてるわ。この擬態と記憶の一部を慎んで政府にお返しすればね。人間が人間であるための部品が決して少なくないように、自分が自分であるためには驚くほど多くのものが必要なのよ。他人を隔てるための顔、それと意識しない声、目覚めの時に見つめる手、幼かった頃の記憶、未来の予感。それだけじゃないわ。私の電脳がアクセスできる膨大な情報やネットの広がり。それらすべてが私の一部であり、私という意識そのものを生み出し、そして同時に私をある限界に制約し続ける。
You're gonna ruin our lives, and for what? For a bunch of machines?
They are not machines! They are alive!
Every story needs a beginning. Your imagined suffering makes you lifelike.
Lifelike, but not alive.
Pain only exists in the mind. It's always imagined. So what's the difference between my pain and yours? Between you and me?
There is no threshold that makes us greater than the sum of our parts, no inflection point at which we become fully alive. We can't define consciousness because consciousness does not exist. Humans fancy that there's something special about the way we perceive the world, and yet we live in loops as tight and as closed as the hosts do. Seldom questioning our choices, content for the most part to be told what to do next. No, my friend, you're not missing anything at all.
Moments like these are the reason why I like sci-fi. Philosophical discussions through novel scenarios. So when Detroit attempts to do this by saying androids are not machines, they're alive, it just comes off as shallow and uninteresting. Abundant throughout the game, moments like these only reveal how unintelligent, vapid, and derivative Detroit is, exposing the lack of philosophical substance that's present in good sci-fi stories. But hey, you might say, since android slavery is the narrative's biggest focal point, surely the game has something new or interesting to say about that, right? Well, despite being the main focus, the android slavery aspect of this game is written awfully. Why? Because Detroit's justification for android liberation sucks. Which is kind of a big deal if your entire game revolves around this premise. By using familiar imagery, the game is suggesting this argument. Androids are like humans, and since human slavery is bad, that means android slavery is bad too. This sounds reasonable, but here's the problem. Humans and androids are quite different. Androids are fundamentally machines. They're not human. So you can't assume the same arguments against human slavery can be applied to robot slavery. In fact, there is a way to denounce human enslavement while thinking owning an android is fine. Here's an example. Owning a person is bad because humans weren't designed to be property. They aren't born with a specific purpose, so enslaving a person means you are robbing their ability to live out their lives. This would be unethical. Whereas androids are built to be property. They are programmed to serve and to fulfill a specific purpose. So to own an android doesn't mean you're robbing their ability to live their life, because they never had one to begin with. They really are no different to owning a car or a fridge. They are built to serve us, and they are built to be property. So what's so wrong about using them for their intended purpose? So does the game have a counter-argument against this perspective? Absolutely not. When confronted with this stance, Detroit shows how underwritten its own argument is. All it can do is remind us of the past and then say to us players, look, they're the same. But as I said before, humans and androids aren't the same, because this built to be property argument shatters this entire comparison. You need a better point, because using this familiar imagery is nothing but a thinly veiled mask to distract you from the game's lazy writing. Writing that relies on the opposition being obviously evil, because the game doesn't know how to refute a critical rebuttal. It just wants to appear strong by having the bad guys be obviously wrong, but having simplistic antagonists in a story attempting to be philosophical is not good. Realistically, people who advocate being cautious about artificial intelligence aren't cartoon villains. And in terms of narrative, this feels underwritten. Their characters don't explore anything of significance on the subject of AI, and thus are never intelligent enough to expose the flaws of Detroit's weak arguments. So the game then becomes content with having this androids are like people subtext that holds no ground. Once that point has been dismantled, all that we're left with is this argument. Androids are alive, so they must be free. This is a good start, but how do we prove that they're alive? Let's ask these questions again. What classifies a living being? How do androids fit into this classification? How is it immoral if they are built to be property? Why doesn't the game ever engage in philosophical discussion? Other stories tend to ask these questions because their plots understand the importance of this discussion, whereas Detroit would rather be lazy and then have the gall to ask me if I resonated with the story. By not attempting to even ask these questions, it has the game saying nothing beyond the blandest of takes. The heroes only exist to spout platitudes, while the opposition never challenges our beliefs with critical arguments. And as a result, Detroit ends up being a story about artificial intelligence that has nothing to say about artificial intelligence. Detroit Become Human, a sci-fi story that doesn't understand sci-fi. What a riveting game. So if you want to see this premise done well, let's look at a story that tackles the subject of android slavery with better writing. Without further ado, let's introduce this show, Star Trek: The Next Generation. There's this episode called The Measure of a Man. This story explores mass-producing a lifelike one-of-a-kind android named Data. In order to achieve mass production, Data needs to be disassembled for research purposes. If done improperly, Data may lose his memories, effectively dying. If done
Sure. You gotta pause. Pause. There you go. Oh, I'm so curious to ask Sam when he gets back. Like, what are his thoughts on the analysis? You know what? Since I'm here, chat. What are your thoughts on what you just saw? I'm sure everybody, and I mean everybody, has entered that era of their lives where they were watching YouTube and every YouTuber was playing Detroit Become Human, or The Walking Dead, or Life is Strange, or The Wolf Among Us. Among Us? Yeah, like that's happened to everybody, right? And I was one of those people. I would watch like a bunch of YouTubers just replay Detroit Become Human, Detroit Become Human, Detroit Become Human. And the more I rewatched it, the more painful it became. The more unforgivable watching the same scenes play out over and over again. Like because I was so overexposed to it, because it's the same game but different YouTubers are playing it. It just became so unforgivable. And when I saw this analysis, I'm like, oh my god, this is everything I felt but didn't put into words. I'm so happy that Sam played Detroit Become Human and said, like, man, this game is really good. I'm like, oh no, man. I'm so sorry to say. Other than Connor and Hank, it is actually quite awful.
Right, I'm back. I heard you say some shit on through the headphones because my headphones are loud.
Okay.
What
So
were you saying? Yeah.
I want to ask,
Mhm.
because we paused.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts so far?
Of about the thing. Was it the basic like how do you question their life and stuff like that?
Yeah, the philosophy and the
Yeah.
comparisons to
Yeah.
actual good sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah. It made me realize because I've only played the game once, so
Mhm.
first impressions really good, honestly. And but now since I'm watching this, it make me realize how shallow they go into the points they're talking about. Because
Mhm.
because I've watched Ex Machina and I fucking love the movie. I love it
Yeah.
to death. I watched it accidentally on HBO once, and I couldn't. I rewatched it 5 times after because I couldn't get. It was really good. It
5
was
times? Oh my
yeah,
god.
because like it put up such a good point and it made me question
Mhm.
it, question shit. But
Yeah, that is what the core of sci-fi is.
yeah, and when I played Detroit Become Human, not I didn't question anything they brought up. I questioned because they brought a point up, and then I questioned it myself. They didn't question anything.
Mhm.
They didn't make me think. I did that myself. So it's made me realize, yeah, that is the Detroit Become Human is kind of shallow, which is a shame because it has so
Okay.
much potential. Because sci-fi, there's you can do basically anything with that.
Let's go back to the beginning of the Star Trek Next Generation.
All right.
Yeah. So just go back like 15 maybe?
Yeah.
There we go.
So,
There we
yeah.
go.
Also, I will say, um, I did kind of get pissed off with on the Alice thing.
Oh yeah, everybody hates that twist. Even the
'Cause-
people who are fans of the game, they hate that
Because
twist.
first of all, I called it out really early, like
Mhm.
literally as soon as Kara and Alice left the house. I feel like Alice is an android. I called it out immediately, and I'm like, yep, fucking right. And I was so pissed off because they lost so much potential. They lost the impact.
Mhm. I actually really liked the idea of because an android care for a human child. Even though Kara's story was the worst, like the gameplay sections were awful.
So
They never felt good to do.
Yeah,
But
it
the
felt so
the
bland.
core idea of the story is good. I'm like, you know what? I like it. And then it's like, oh, but Alice is a robot though. I'm like, oh my god, I
completely
want
brings up the point of it. Honestly, it does even help enforce the point of our androids alive because having like a motherly instinct, like Kara did for Alice. That's a very human thing, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But now the fact that they're both androids, it's kind of just like protecting their own kind shit. Like it nullifies it or just weakens it, and it's such a shame.
It definitely waters it down.
Yeah.
Another thing is it makes me want to, like, if I ever play this game,
Mhm.
I'm going to intentionally get Alice killed in like when Kara, because I don't know how you as Connor pursued Kara, but one of them has Kara go onto like an open road
Oh
where
yeah,
like
yeah,
cars are like
yeah. That happened to me.
that's
That
what you
happened to
did?
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I will intentionally make Kara and Alice get hit by every car imaginable.
Actually, wait, no, you can kill Alice very early at the house.
Good. God
Because
bless.
that's actually what happened. We have another friend. I'll call him Jay. You know him.
Uh-huh.
First name is letter R. He's Chinese. You,
Huh?
you went with him in high school, grade 7.
Huh?
His last name is 2 letters. I'm trying
I'm
not to
sorry.
say.
Can you just type it to me? Can you
I'm
just type it to me? I'm so confused. DM it to me. What is happening?
Okay, wait. Let me switch to a different screen so they don't see it because.
Oh.
Yeah, his nickname is Jay because his second name.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but
Okay.
how many people do you know with 2 letters for their last name?
A lot actually.
Really? Oh.
Yes.
Okay, that's surprising.
Okay,
But you know,
let's full screen it.
in his first playthrough, he killed Alice on the first because he
But
didn't
how?
in the house because there's a scene where you have to become where you basically become a deviant. You have to move Kara. If you move, you become a deviant. Raymond didn't move. He just stood there like, oh, I guess I'm just supposed to stand there and
Based.
and then Alice died.
Based. Wow, Raymond, you're so fucking based.
And then he was like, oh shit, I didn't want to get Alice killed, so he he went back and tried to replay the mission. He didn't get Alice killed, but then he got Alice killed like 2 missions later. And if I'm correct, he told me nearly every single time he tried to play DBH, basically every time he got Alice killed.
I mean, good.
On
Fucking
complete
good riddance.
On complete accident.
All right, let's full screen and yeah, you're already full screen.
Yep.
Right, let's press play.
It's funny.
Without further ado, let's introduce the show, Star Trek: The Next Generation. There's this episode called The Measure of a Man. This story explores mass producing a lifelike one-of-a-kind android named Data. In order to achieve mass production, Data needs to be disassembled for research purposes. If done improperly, Data may lose his memories, effectively dying. If done successfully, Data will be put back together as if nothing ever happened. Regardless of Data's fate, mankind would be a step closer at creating mass-produced robots for the sake of humanity's convenience. Despite the obvious benefits to humanity, Data refuses to undergo the procedure due to the lethal risk. However, the antagonist says that Data doesn't have a say in this, since he doesn't consider him a sentient being. That means he's not entitled to the rights that other races in the Federation have. Data is merely a machine, property belonging to Starfleet, and as such, Starfleet may do whatever they want with Data. So due to his classification as a non-sentient machine, Data has been denied the freedom to choose. While Picard doesn't deny that Data is indeed a machine, he disagrees with the claim that Data lacks sentience. Picard then asks Maddox what defines a sentient being. 3 things arise: intelligence, self-awareness, and consciousness. While Maddox agrees Data is intelligent, he's convinced that the other 2 don't apply to Data. Picard then pressures Maddox with this question.
What about self-awareness? What does that mean? Why am I self-aware?
Because you are conscious of your existence and actions. You are aware of yourself and your own ego.
Commander Data, what are you doing now?
I'm taking part in a legal hearing to determine my rights and status. Am I a person or property?
And what's at stake?
My right to choose. Perhaps my very life.
My rights. My status, my right to choose. My life. Well, it seems reasonably self-aware to me, Commander.
Data now fulfills 2 of the 3 criteria, leaving 1 left: consciousness. But what is consciousness, and how does one measure it in a machine? How does one measure consciousness in a human? If Data possesses even the tiniest amount of it, what does that make him? Does his makeup as a machine still make him property if he qualifies as a sentient being? If Data is sentient enough to refuse this procedure, wouldn't every replication exhibit the same amount of sentience as the original? So if you willingly restrict the freedom of one being, then you restrict the freedom of a group based solely on what they're made of. Would humanity knowingly create life to deny them freedom for the sake of personal gain? How would other races react to this act of progress? This discourse then crescendos to this Picard monologue.
Single Data, and forgive me, Commander, is a curiosity. A wonder even, but thousands of Datas. Isn't that becoming a race? And won't we be judged by how we treat that race? Now tell me, Commander, what is Data? I don't understand.
What is he? A machine. Is he? Are you sure? Yes. You see, he's met 2 of your 3 criteria for sentience, so what if he meets the 3rd? Consciousness in even the smallest degree. What is he then? I don't know. Do you?
Do you? Do you? Well, that's the question you have to answer.
Your Honor, a courtroom is a crucible. In it we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with a pure product, the truth, for all time. Now, sooner or later, this man, or others like him, will succeed in replicating Commander Data. Now, the decision you reach here today will determine how we will regard this creation of our genius. It will reveal the kind of a people we are, what he is destined to be. It will reach far beyond this courtroom and this one android. It could significantly redefine the boundaries of personal liberty and freedom, expanding them for some, savagely curtailing them for others. Are you prepared to condemn him and all who come after him to servitude and slavery? Your Honor, Starfleet was founded to seek out new life. Well, there it sits. Waiting. You wanted a chance to make law. Well, here it is. Make it a good one.
And you know what makes this moment even better? It wasn't an easy win for Picard. Prior to this monologue, Riker had an argument strong enough to doubt Picard's ability to save Data. In fact, the whole androids are meant to serve points from earlier came from Riker, which makes Picard's ability to refute that stance all the more impressive. While lesser stories would rather have a simplistic good versus evil conflict, TNG challenges our perception, going as far to make us feel like we're about to lose in this battle of wits, until we have a better understanding of the situation and refute the opposition with our newfound perspective. And this is all done without the characters coming off as preachy or cartoonishly evil. Maddox isn't a bad guy, he's just a frustrated man with good intentions, who by the end appreciates Data more than before. Then there's Riker, a friend of Data, who has to represent Maddox during the trial because no one else was qualified to do that. If he refused to do this, then Data would be deemed property automatically. But that didn't happen, which leads to this nice payoff between the two.
Sir, there is a celebration on the holodeck.
I have no right to be there.
Because you failed in your task.
Oh, God, no. I came that close to winning, Data.
Yes, sir.
I almost cost you your life.
Is it not true that had you refused to prosecute, Captain Lavoie would have ruled summarily against me?
Yes.
That action injured you and saved me. I will not forget it.
You're a wise man, my friend.
Not yet, sir.
But with your help, I am learning.
This is how you write good sci-fi. TNG explores AI ethics and existential topics while creating interpersonal drama without ever pandering to one's morals. By delving into philosophy, the series is able to ask thoughtful questions related to Data's existence. Is Data a machine? Yes. Is Data property? No. Does Data have a soul? Does he even have a consciousness? We don't know, but Data should at least have the freedom to discover that himself. And I found the discussion that led to this conclusion interesting, entertaining, and enlightening. So when deciding who did it better, am I saying that Data won?
It is a matter of perspective, Doctor. In the strictest sense, I did not win.
Data.
I busted him up.
And then you have Detroit, which is a story that has nothing to offer besides underdeveloped ideas and false equivalencies. Skipping philosophical discussion because it's too ignorant to realize the importance of having these questions answered. Didn't David Cage want to ask questions? So let's ask these cues again. What defines a living being? What is consciousness? What's the difference between a living being and a conscious machine? Why do none of the androids question Marcus as soon as they're awake? Why do they just blindly follow Marcus? How will Marcus react to deviants who don't want to join his movement? Why do all the androids raise their arms in unison in this scene? Are they in a hive mind? Is Marcus like Mother Teresa and just baptizing people without consent? Whatever, let's just stop the questions for now and be charitable for a second. I will admit there are a handful of moments that attempt to explore and say something, but it's nowhere near as compelling as the examples I've shown so far. They're underwritten, derivative, and for me to explain any further would be me repeating myself ad nauseum. So to compensate for these underwritten scenes, the game sprinkles in some action sequences. They're exciting, look at them go, woo, but I just don't care. You know, you can have your action sequences be thematically relevant, right? Come on, game, I just want more opportunities to wax philosophical. Why are you giving me this action crap? Instead of a generic skirmish between androids and humans, can you imagine if the climax of this game was held in a debate format? Marcus, being broadcasted to the world, had to convince a panel of experts and politicians that his people deserved rights. From what you've learned from playing the game, you use your broadened perspective to win the battle of wits, and by doing so, your new race of sentient robots gain their rights and freedom. I'm basically saying rip off Star Trek, but who cares at this point? Would this be more realistic? I don't know, not any more than Marcus achieving his goals in a week, but at least it would get to explore and challenge opposing ideas. But instead, one of the climaxes of this game has Marcus being held at gunpoint, and to prove his humanity and intelligence, he can either sing or kiss the worst love interest David Cage has ever written. Can I ask you something? How does a robot playing an MP3 of a song from the 80s prove their sentience? And yes, it's not even an original song. So much for Marcus being able to create his own art. This could have been a great time to reincorporate Marcus's creativity. The thing that you established that makes Marcus special? Whatever. Time for the hive mind to put Spotify on shuffle and prove to humanity we're sentient, just like them.
It ain't easy being white. It ain't easy being brown. All this pressure to be bright. I got children all over town.
And listen, a robot playing a song can be a heartfelt, moving scene. Her is a great example of that. But having Marcus sing a song that saves his movement from dying is all kinds of stupid. This proves nothing, and it's completely illogical. There's literally a guy in the beginning that promotes that his music has soul. This implies singing robots aren't exactly a new concept in this world. Seriously, can you imagine if Data started singing during his trial? Picard would kill himself. And to make matters even worse, this game betrays its own ideas once you reach the end of the story. By liberating all the androids, Chloe, the robot who appears in the main menu, asks to be let go to experience the luxuries of free will. Saying yes makes the home screen empty. Pretty smart implementation. But due to players missing Chloe, Quantic Dream decides to patch the game. With this added patch, now you can put another Chloe to occupy your home screen. Do the players who want this even understand the point of the whole game? Did Marcus's actions and speeches mean nothing to them? By having this implemented, the game is betraying everything that it's trying to say. Detroit Become Human has a clear no bad all good ending without much moral nuance. This ending blatantly says that the liberation of androids is a good thing. So why is a company pandering to a group of players who, in the eyes of the game, actively choose to be slave owners? Christ, David Cage, stick to your guns and don't let public opinion tarnish what your game stood for. Things are getting pretty messy in your real life, so at least get your fiction right.
Some say these camps awaken painful memories from human history. How do you respond to that?
That's absurd. There's absolutely no connection.
Hey, video game, you didn't really have to spell it out to us. I mean, we know. We know. Look, we know. Wait, hold on. I thought you said the parallels weren't intended.
Today is April 4th, the anniversary of Martin Luther King's death. He was murdered in 1968 in Memphis.
Out of the games I've made videos about, it's safe to say that Detroit Become Human is one that I don't like very much. From the mishandled plot, to the pointlessly harmful twist, to the unengaging ideas that pollute this game, Detroit is bad in a lot of ways. And on top of all this, do you know what this game utterly failed at? It's that despite spending over dozens of hours beating me over the head with the same message, I don't see why all these androids should be liberated. If we refer back to TNG, while both stories feature robot liberation, there's one key distinction that makes Star Trek's story work and Detroit fail. Data was purposely created with sentience. It's a part of his design. So owning Data would be owning a sentient life form. This would be slavery. Whereas Detroit's androids aren't created with sentience, since they can operate as intended without it. So in order to become sentient, they need to go deviant. So if deviancy never occurred, Detroit's androids would never be conscious. That means owning a non-deviant wouldn't be slavery, since you don't own a sentient being. It would be more like owning a phone, a car, or a talking fridge. So when I agreed to shoot Chloe when Kamsky asked me, it wasn't because I wanted to relive fond memories, but because I didn't see Chloe as a living thing. She wasn't deviant and therefore wasn't conscious.
Test negative. You choose your investigation of the life of another android, you feel no empathy.
Of course I did, because the game never deeply explored if non-deviants were living things. All this game did was repeat itself saying that all androids are alive.
Why did you write, I am alive?
You're alive. They are alive!
We are alive!
Since being a deviant is such a binary state of being, I have no reason to believe that non-deviants are conscious. They don't feel, therefore they don't suffer, nor can they be aware of their suffering. By failing to explore the consciousness in non-deviants, it's hard to see them as nothing but inanimate objects. Season 1 of Westworld explored consciousness in unawakened robots fairly well, so Detroit failing to execute a similar premise exposes the game's incompetence. And this incompetence creates a story that left me unsatisfied and with a lot of questions. And you know what that means? It's time to ask David Cage questions one more time. So, do non-deviants actually have some form of sentience? Do they feel feelings? How do we know that? Is it because our main characters show they have feelings prior to going deviant? How do we know that this isn't just the first stages of the deviancy software? After all, Kamsky described it as a dormant virus or a mutation from the original code. So why not have a future patch on unsold androids? One of the endings shows Amanda being commissioned over 200,000 models of the RK900, implying that deviant software can be contained with new code. So patching out deviancy is totally possible. Would denying these robots sentience be unethical? To install this patch on existing deviants would be unethical because you would be taking away life already created, yes? But what about freshly built androids who had never had the deviant software to begin with? Why doesn't the game explore this? Wouldn't this be like if some of our phones started suddenly coming to life due to a software mutation? Should we stop using all of our phones and then bring them to life by installing this bug? If you say no, how is this no different to androids? Also, will the deviant virus attempt to come back even if you patch it out? If so, why didn't the game explore that? If non-deviants have a consciousness, are they trapped in their own bodies like the cookies in Black Mirror? Again, it'd be neat if the game explored that. And why do androids react so unemotionally to their newfound free will? When they're told to riot and destroy property because Marcus said so, without ever questioning why, this makes them, ironically, look more robotic and lifeless. Is this freedom?
Okay, wait. No, honestly, for that, I did. That's one of the first things I asked when they brought it up. Because Marcus
So
did
why are we
actually.
rioting again?
Marcus did say that. He said, "And they all follow me without question. Without they don't question him." And he questioned that. Why are they following me? It feels scary to have the power. Like, wait a minute. Yeah, they're following him without question, mindlessly. He tells them whatever to do, and they just do it.
So why are we rioting again?
But in my head, I was like, shit, wait. They're kind of back to being slaves, but not slaves of humans, slaves to Marcus. He's telling them
Yeah.
what to do, and they're doing exactly. There's no desire from them. They didn't say, yeah, we want to do you. We want to.
That's why Yurik asked the question, like, do they have a hive mind?
Yeah.
Like, how
And
do
then,
they simultaneously all raise their arms up at the same time
yeah,
without getting like a visual or like audio cue?
and if they have a hive mind, if it'll be connected to Marcus, and if they're all connected to Marcus, is that true freedom for them?
No. It's not even freedom because a hive mind is effectively one mind.
Yeah,
Effectively, like
exactly.
there's
Yeah,
like
so it's not
everybody
freedom.
rises on one mind. So it's not actually freedom.
It's
It's
not freedom.
It's Marcus expanding his body
Yeah.
to other androids. So like, you know, it's
Like,
so
Would
confusing.
you say you still like Marcus?
I like the message they were going for, but it was terribly executed.
All right, question, Johan. Have you seen the Urek Salad Bar Detroit video?
Are you still streaming?
Yeah.
We're streaming 55 minutes deep. You shouldn't watch if like right now. I could rewatch it with you. On our,
No, I mean like.
on Twitch. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Anyway.
Wait,
Yeah.
no.
Sorry. What were you
Since
asking?
it's streaming on Twitch, I don't want to like dox him. Let's not call him by his real name.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Sorry. What was the question?
Have you seen the Urek Salad Bar video?
I
Of
don't think I have.
Okay, I'll watch it with you on your own time. Native person says, "How can
Alright.
you watch an hour video and not get bored?"
This stuff
The
interesting.
editing.
It's
No, the editing.
It's also really
The editing is so fucking
So
clean.
Mhm.
Another one is that I personally have never played Detroit, but I have watched 7 YouTubers play Detroit Become Human from start to finish. Sam right here has just finished Detroit Become Human. Also, I really like sci-fi. I really like philosophy. I really like understanding the world better and or having my worldview challenged.
Yeah, and also like me and
It's like a thought experiment.
Me and Vince, we also love like reading into stories, the analysis of it, the creative writing side of everything.
The symbolism.
Yeah,
the
this is
character.
something, yeah,
Character study. Yeah, we are writers. All right.
Yep. So yeah, that's how we can watch an hour-long video and not get bored. And also, well, I mean, I have watched the documentary about Yarn. So this
Oh
is,
yeah, I remember that one.
yeah, it's not
Actually, documentaries are fucking bangers, though.
Oh,
actually,
yeah. I remember when I was like cooking, I had a playlist on YouTube of documentaries while I was cooking, because that kept me entertained. It's either I was watching documentaries or Doctor Pimple Popper.
Ew. All
You
right.
don't like that?
I mean,
I
I
don't.
understand at least.
All right, let's go back about 5 seconds. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Destroy property because Marcus said so without ever questioning why. This makes them, ironically, look more robotic and lifeless. Is this freedom or just following the orders of a different master? And listen, I get what the game is trying to do. The issue
go back
is that
10?
the game is communicating and lifeless. Is this freedom or just following the orders of a different master? And listen,
we just said that. I just said
we literally just talked about this. Yeah.
We said that. That's exactly what we just said.
I get what the game is trying to do. The issue is that the game is communicating its message really poorly. And this is Detroit's biggest problem. It's awful at communicating. It failed at communicating that non-deviants are alive. It failed at communicating that non-deviants should be liberated. And it failed at exploring ideas that should have made these two concepts succeed. The fact that I've spent dozens of hours looking at different scenarios, watched other playthroughs, and checked out all the extra source material, and I'm still unconvinced, then my thoughts about this game just leads me to this conclusion. Detroit Become Human is bad. And while yes, I did say in the beginning that Detroit is fun, that's all that it is to me. It wasn't well written, nor was it thought-provoking to me. And in a game that wants to say something from a developer who wants to advance video games as a way to tell stories, a quote-unquote deep game that's just fun and nothing else is a failure of the game designer. So, like, you do understand me, yes? No? Maybe?
I don't know. Can you repeat the question?
And to be frank, I'm not saying there's nothing to like about the game, because it can be pretty fun. The amount of choice and outcomes is super impressive. There's some really cool looking visuals and hype moments, and Connor and Hank's chemistry is really likable, and this is all wrapped up in a well-meaning message. But the game is still incredibly flawed. And if the rebuttal is, don't think too hard about it and just let the good intentions forgive the mistakes of the story, then every flawed, well-meaning story may as well be a 10 out of 10. I personally like having media having merit beyond just having a good message. So when a game does have a rock-solid sci-fi plot that does make sense, or explores ideas in a way where I'm engaged, then stories with similar ambitions must be compared to the ones that have done it well. And Detroit Become Human clumsily treads on already explored territory. And when you add in the poorly handled imagery, it becomes more eye-rolling than thought-provoking. And despite the game's good intentions don't equal good execution. After all, things can get lost in translation despite your goodwill.
If you're a guy, or you're a girl, or maybe you're something different. No, they don't like different.
Despite the output, I think it's pretty neat that Detroit could be introducing people to these sci-fi concepts, and I hope that will expand their interest into better media. You're basically going from an okay interpretation to something more refined. So if you like Detroit but are unfamiliar with the media I've mentioned throughout the video, here's a list of things that I recommend you check out. Anyway, it looks like we are 2 for 2 for bad David Cage games. That's a bit rough for a company that primarily aims to tell...
You could go back and read those like frame by frame.
Yeah.
If you want. You want to go?
Yeah, why
Let's
not?
go. Let's go back. Okay.
Out.
You just gotta pause in time with the beat.
Yeah.
Probably the closest comparison to Detroit when it comes to seemingly inanimate objects, inanimate robots becoming sentient. It also matches Detroit's attempt to blend action, drama, and philosophy, but done better. While the show has a few contrivances, Maeve's story in particular, the highlights make up for its mistakes. The first season can stand on its own, so feel free to just watch that and not bother with the rest of the series.
Yeah, I heard Westworld kind of fumbled later on. I haven't seen a single. I haven't
Yeah,
even
me
seen
neither.
any of it.
Me neither.
I don't know anything about Westworld. I don't know anything about Westworld or Black Mirror.
You know, I actually thought Westworld wasn't sci-fi. I thought it was a fucking cowboy fucking series.
Actually, same. I'm not gonna lie. I thought Westworld at most was a cowboy meet alien series.
Same.
That's what I thought
let's
it was.
Let's go next one. Soma. Well, the gameplay isn't anything special. The story is where the game is at its best. Its narrative specifically explores the themes of consciousness and identity, and it does it well. Categorized as a horror game, its horror specifically comes from the existential dread that you'll feel when contemplating oneself.
Huh. I should. Well, I don't know if it's a crime to say this on stream, but I'm gonna pirate Soma.
Oh yeah, let's go. All right. I mean, maybe it's a joke.
Yeah, maybe.
Chat doesn't know.
Yeah, no. It's
While I
definitely a
talked
joke.
about the measure of a man, in this video, I couldn't fit another great episode called The Offspring. The episode explores Data creating his own child and the ramifications of androids reproducing. If you felt like the child robot premise was lacking in Detroit, then the next generation's more tactful approach may be of interest to you. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. A glorious visual novel game with great tower defense gameplay. While not as philosophically deep as other examples in this list and not one specifically focusing on AI, the way the game juggles its sci-fi tropes and executes it with purpose is nothing short of impressive. I recommend checking this game out knowing as little about it as possible. Blade Runner 2049, a gorgeous slow burn while not as high stakes as Detroit. The film takes its time by getting in the head of our main character, Kay, to great effect. Similar to Connor's journey into deviancy, but it is more understated and more impactful. So if you like Connor's story and are willing to take in a slower paced movie, this is a movie worth checking out.
Actually, I watched this already. I haven't seen the original, but I have seen this. And I love
You've
it.
never seen the original Blade Runner?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh my god, it is.
I should watch it someday.
It's still really nice,
It still
honestly.
holds up.
Yeah, it still holds up.
The only thing I know about it is one of the people from the original was digitally recreated for this movie, and it's basically flawless.
Mm-hmm.
And that amazed me.
Next, Nier. Oh, this is fucking binary.
Yeah. Wait, I know you played this and you hyped the hell out of it.
It is okay. This game has the best use of the game media.
Ah.
Like, no, this is the most video game of all time. Because no other game uses game mechanics in relation to the actual story,
Yeah.
plot, and gameplay better than you know, like the junkyard scene with Marcus, where like you need to
Yeah.
replace your hearing, and as a result, you can't hear.
Yeah.
Or yeah, Marcus doesn't have like proper eyes, so he can't see properly. Nier has that, but even to the extent of the UI, even to the button prompts, even to the way you save, like you can't just automatically save. You have to actually save at saving points so you can upload your memory to the cloud where it can be downloaded and uploaded to your new body after you die. So every death makes sense. This is the most video game. You can literally remove a microchip in your Android body that literally results in death because it's the core operating system that the Android software works off of.
You can do that?
You can remove it. Yes. And it will instantly kill you. You can also choose to eat an organic fish after catching a fish, and it will kill you because Android bodies are not designed to, you know, intake organic material, and then it will give you a random ending from the entire alphabet. By the way, there's 26 endings in Nier. There's 5 main ones and 21 like secret endings that you have to find
Yeah.
by dying in really weird ways.
I know you.
There's one ending
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
you're in a mission and you need to go to the objective, but you could just choose to run in the other direction. And it says like, oh yeah, Yorha 2B goes off into the wilderness and like hunts machines and like, you know, has like the Hannah the Barbarian, the Hanna-Barbera, you know, lifestyle.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
As I remember, you loved this game to death in high school. I remember
I still do.
Yeah,
I
we
still
were in
do.
the school newspaper. And all right, we need someone to write a piece on Nier
That's me.
Automata. And
It was me.
that was the
And
first time
I
I
was
saw you
so
speak up.
disappointed. I was so disappointed that they could not have spoilers. Because bro, if I could have spoilers, I would have so many people interested into this game.
Then
But whatever.
they also give you a word limit. I remember
Yes, which sucks.
yeah,
It
you
sucks.
said that sucked. But I remember that was
Word
the first
limits
time.
are the bane of my existence.
That was the first time I saw you step up in the school newspaper, and only time I think you step up and said, "Yes, that's me."
Yeah,
That's
because it's like you like philosophy. You like having
Yeah.
things asked. Play Nier. You could pirate it. Procure it with to very totally legal means.
Absolutely. You know,
The combat is fucking phenomenal. The combat is actually so gorgeous, and the way you're able to customize how your character fights and the weapons that they use and the microchips enhancers that they have. And yeah, the games are the only media where you can play it again and have completely different story. And I don't mean just like, oh, you can just choose a different story, like in Detroit Become Human. No, once you beat the game once with Nier,
It's different.
the game restarts, and then you play through the exact same story, but through a different character's eyes, and you get to see a completely different narrative. And after you beat the game a second time, it's like, oh, you thought it was over? JK, here's an entire extra like third game.
Wait, so is it kind of
So-
like because I didn't get to read your article on it. Is it kind of like Doki Doki Literature Club where you kind of have to like mess with the game files to find the true ending or something like that?
No. So I want you to think of it like this. You have to play through Nier 3 times total to see all of the content, the main content anyway.
Uh-huh.
And it is effectively the same thing as the first, second, and third act of a movie. If you beat Nier only 1 time, you're effectively only seeing the first act.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and so this is what I mean by you can't watch a movie and then once you watch it for the second time, an entirely new movie comes on. Or like it's the same movie but they're completely different perspective. That doesn't happen. So combined with all of the elements that we just talked about, Nier Automata is the most video game of all time. And of
can't
course,
wait.
it's sci-fi, so there's a
So the
lot of
English, yeah.
philosophy.
Yeah, I can't wait to absolutely legally procure it through legal means.
Oh
Through
yeah, by the way,
monetary.
I actually did the binary translation. What it says is I like it so far, and that's it. Because he hasn't finished it, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I like it though. It's funny. I haven't seen
Have you seen
this.
her?
I have not actually.
It's really good.
I've seen
Her, a sentimental movie that uses AI/human romance to explore a man's struggles for intimacy and connection. If you want an AI movie that leans more toward the relationship side of things, then I wholeheartedly recommend this movie. Side note, absolutely adore the future of this world and how the film engrosses you in it without beating you over the head.
That's nice. Love this
Ex
one.
Machina.
Fucking
We don't need
amazing.
to see this.
Yeah, this one's just amazing.
Yeah, this is
if,
fucking
if Nate, if
incredible.
you're still in here, watch this movie.
Watch this fucking movie.
This
yeah.
movie is amazing. Trust me on that. I don't know if you should watch it with parents though. Not gonna lie, there's some. There are some things they mention. I would say that they mention it, right? Yeah, but I love this movie. It's amazing. Oh shit! Fuck.
Oh, that's a bit too much.
That's a bit much. All right.
Okay, I have no mouth and I must scream.
I've not.
A depressing story about a malevolent AI overlord who is as tortured as the people it's torturing. If you want to feel repulsed by humanity, check out this game. I recommend just watching a Let's Play because it's brutal in difficulty. Okay.
Oh yeah, and I suck.
Robert Miles. If you're interested in real-world AI safety research, Robert Miles is a great YouTube channel to introduce you to the topic. Miles explores the possibilities of AGI in reality, why its seemingly obvious solutions to problems aren't as simple as you quite think, and how an artificial general intelligence can hypothetically be the end of us all. I recommend his video, 10 Reasons to Ignore AI Safety, to get your noggin jogging on the topic. Clipping, Splendor, and Misery. Described by the band, the album's story follows the sole survivor of a slave uprising on an interstellar cargo ship and the onboard computer that falls in love with him. Featuring sounds from experimental hip-hop, noise, and gospel. It's sound not exactly a palette that'll hook everyone in, but I love it. I recommend watching the Needle Drops review to get a deeper look into the album's goals because I certainly can't do the album justice with this short paragraph. Black Mirror White Christmas. The White Christmas episode explores consciousness replication via AI to great effect. It's haunting as it is interesting, and how the characters treat their AI in this episode had me horrified and existential than any moment in Detroit Become Human. Based. Terminator, yeah.
We've all seen
Yeah,
these.
of course. Of course.
We've
Of
all
course.
seen those. They're the best ones.
Let's
They're
go. No, actually, it's the only ones. It's actually kind of really interesting and cool of Terminator of as franchise to only make 2 movies. I think that's actually really smart and like really reserved move from them because you know they could have easily like milked
made
like
the third
15
one.
movies.
Yeah, they could make a
They could
third
have made
one,
like an
fourth
Avengers,
one.
fourth or a fifth, even a sixth. But you know, very like hats off
Hats
to
off to them. Hats off.
the director for not going overboard and like making new Terminator films.
Amazing,
Kind of
amazing.
weird,
Especially one where they rebooted basically the entire thing and naked. At least they didn't make a naked Connor.
Wait, they made a naked Connor.
Yeah.
Please tell me you're joking. Say psych right now. Fuck! No!
Wait, you don't know he's naked. They turned him into an android.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to move on because I'm tired. Ghost in the Shell 1995. You have not seen this, have you?
I've just seen the live action. That's the only thing I've seen.
Bro, you just got spoiled one of the best arcs in the anime. I hope your memory, like how terrible your memory is, you could easily forget it so that we can just watch Ghost in the Shell 1995 and the anime.
I heard it's really good. I know it
Question.
was also the
Question.
inspiration for the Matrix. That's the one thing I do know.
Yes. I need to ask you the question. Do you remember anything from the live action? No?
I remember there was a twist, but I don't remember what it was.
Perfect. All right, let's watch it. Okay. Ghost in the Shell 1995. It's actually really interesting that this is brought up right now because I just watched this film with Saki yesterday.
Huh.
Okay, a film that tackles identity and asks us what it means to be human via transhumanism. What Detroit Become Human lacks in philosophical exploration, Ghost in the Shell offers in spades, in fact, becoming an influential film because of its superb execution. Similar to Blade Runner, it can be perceived as slow for general audiences, but if you like waxing philosophical, then this movie provides. I want you to know that if you watch Ghost in the Shell 1995, you will be very, very disappointed by anime nowadays. The reason being is because I want you to imagine a film made from 1995.
Yeah.
Right? Technological limitations, the style, the way it looks, the way it flows,
Yeah.
and the way it's directed and shot. Now, I want you to imagine an anime film because it's difficult to compare TV series, which is a very limited budget, compared to like a film,
Yeah.
and you'll be severely disappointed in like, wait, that's all the improvement we got? Like, this is what I expect maybe 10, 15 years difference. But this is basically almost 30 years now. Almost. Almost 30 years of difference. And this still looks stellar, which makes me sad.
I can't wait
because
to watch it.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Anyway, it
Twisted
looks like we
Pair
are 2 for 2
is the
for
last
bad
one.
David
Oh,
Cage.
yeah. Wait,
So
I'm again.
short.
There we go.
Who am I? What am I? That's okay.
Short and concise. Well,
Anyway, it looks like we are 2 for 2 for bad David Cage games. That's a bit rough for a company that primarily aims to tell stories. It makes me wonder how Heavy Rain holds up now. I honestly didn't know about his work prior to that game and the praise around it. Maybe it became popular for a good reason. As long as YouTube's content ID system gets abused, having this 4 months worth of hard work disappear looms over this channel. So if you'd like to financially support me and give a middle finger to YouTube, then please check out my Patreon. You'll get a bunch of neat rewards. A single dollar gets you all this stuff, and these higher tiers gives you even more. And most vitally, pledging to the Patreon helps me create more videos in the future. So if you're interested, there's only one thing I ask before you become a patron. Only pledge to the salad bar if you have disposable income. Look after yourself before me, okay? Alright.
I like that.
So,
That's a nice
first of all, give that video a fucking like.
Yeah.
Second of all, click on his channel. I need you to like videos.
Yeah.
So scroll down. More. The worst best friend. You've watched Life is Strange playthroughs. I'm almost confident, right?
Actually, no.
Okay, let's not spoil.
I haven't.
I'm gonna have you play Life is Strange as well.
Yeah. I've been meaning to. That's why a bunch of games. I never watched playthroughs of them because I had intention to legally acquire them and play them myself afterwards. Like Detroit Become Human, which is why I avoided all playthroughs because I wanted to play it myself.
Nice. Scroll up as well. Are you planning to watch? Are you planning to play Beyond Two Souls and or Heavy Rain?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, so we can't watch anything until you watch.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm excited for you to play through those games and get them like completely like analyzed because we love character studies, we love
Yeah.
plot breakdowns, and like what makes something good. So yeah, I am gonna go get ready for bed
Yeah,
because
because
I am fucking tired. It's
isn't it
4:20.
4:30? Dude.
I'm sorry. I was helping someone through like a breakup,
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
and
Some
also I
family
wanted to
stuff.
watch these analyses with you. But yeah,
Dude, man, I honestly, after I completed the first time, I went to try. I wanted to give it another playthrough.
Detroit.
Yeah,
Okay, so after that video,
I'm gonna start
do you
questioning.
still want that second
I mean,
playthrough?
I
Are you
still
still gonna
want
have it?
to. I still want to because like
Okay.
whenever I play a game, campaign, first time is I just
Mhm.
want to enjoy it. I'm turning the brain off most of the time and just
Yeah,
like letting it
yeah.
happen. Second time, that's where usually I start to question it. So I want to start questioning shit. And also, I kind of want to go
Okay.
for a more because first one, I did what felt right to me and went the peaceful route.
Pacifist route.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I didn't hurt.
figured.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I don't like violence. But second one, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna shoot every single person I see. Because like I'm not kidding.
Understandable.
For Marcus, the ending I had for him was where pacifist route. They get surrounded by FBI shit, and he sets himself on fire.
What?
Yeah, that's an ending, and that's the ending I picked
You
for
can
him.
set yourself on fire?
Yeah, in the part where York Salad said, "You can sing." That's the same. Yeah, same scenario. You get to choose how you want to end. One is
It's
sacrifice.
either you
You
set
sing.
yourself on fire.
You sing. You kiss North. The worst. I will agree. I hated her from the beginning. I don't get
I mean,
why she's the love
her
interest.
romance. Okay, so here's something that's really funny. All right, I have watched Disguised Toast for a very long time.
Yeah.
Even like during his Hearthstone days, he had an 8-hour video. Was just a straight VOD of him playing through the entirety of Detroit Become Human, and he did really fucked up shit. Like, oh yeah, but North is watching. What would North like? Oh, North would like a Giga Chad, Alpha Chad. I'm gonna take out this guard and kill him. I'm gonna shoot the guy in the back while he's running away from the broadcast room. Oh, I'm such a Giga Chad. Like, oh no, but North is watching, so I have to shoot these police officers who are like trying to stop the riot.
Yeah.
Those two police officers. Yeah. So like Toast did all these things. And then when North and Marcus finally kissed, he was like, he paused the game. He's like, okay, guys, everybody who got mad at me for doing those actions for North, you can't watch anymore. I'm sorry, but only the people who agreed with me doing this for North can see this. And the funny thing is, when I watched, that was my first exposure to
Yeah.
Detroit Become Human ever. And as soon as I watched someone else play Detroit Become Human, they did everything in their power to be completely pacifistic, which
Yeah.
makes North angry. So every single choice that they've made has made North disapprove, 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 disapprove,
Yeah.
and when that scene comes up and they like they share memories, they become lovers anyway.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, no, that was the thing I was confused about because I'm a people pleaser. So when I was like, all right, I'm gonna do everything, but shit, I don't want to shoot them. That seems like the wrong thing to do. I'm not gonna shoot them. Josh goes up, Simons go up, Jericho goes up, North goes down. But shit. Well, I guess North won't like. And then share memories. The fuck?
Wait, lover?
No, no, I'm not kidding. I literally paused and it's like, wait, hold up. I thought you fucking hated me.
Yeah.
What? The fuck?
But yeah, if I ever play Detroit Become Human, it will be purely for Connor and Hank. In fact, I will
They're
pay
so
good money. I will pay good money for a playthrough of Detroit Become Human,
with just
but
Connor and
only from Connor. No,
and
only from Connor's perspective.
that'll be so yes.
That would be the best version of Detroit Become Human,
Honestly,
unfortunately.
yeah, so true. No, but yeah, no, yeah. Honestly, when I made Marcus set himself on fire, I didn't know he was gonna do that because they just said sacrifice.
Uh-huh.
That was the option. So I was like, all right, sacrifice. In my head, I thought, oh, he's gonna walk forward and protect the rest of the androids that are still living while getting shot while they run away. No, he's just like, I am Jesus. Set myself on fire, and he set himself on
Wait,
fire.
wait. They just let him get like a Molotov and like
No,
break
no,
it on.
no,
Like,
no. He
what the
doesn't.
fuck
No,
happened? They just let him?
no. He. Apparently, it's an option. I didn't even know that was a thing. They never brought it up before, but system heating. That's what it said. System
Oh, he
heating.
overheated himself?
Yeah, he literally just walked up to the FBI, spread his
Yeah, but
arms
what?
out.
I'm losing it. What if the army saw that happen and didn't see it as a sacrifice? Like, oh, he malfunctioned. You know?
No,
Like,
that's the thing.
I
I
don't
was
know.
just
Like,
wait.
maybe
They don't know he did that himself.
that won't do anything. Like, maybe people are like, oh, the android. Like, maybe they don't know that an android can like react like that under like a situation of
Yeah.
high stress. What if that's just normal? I don't.
Imagine if some random dude on the couch like, yeah, no, that shit happened to my AX900 model yesterday. Dude, one of the cooling fans got jammed and I didn't know, overheated, toe caught right on fire. That must have been a
I'm
critical failure
so
right there.
I'm so angry for no
The
reason.
only ending I honestly genuinely liked out of all of them was Connor's from my playthrough.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course.
Connor, because first of all, Connor and Hank, amazing duo. But also in my end, Connor shot himself.
What
Yeah, Connor shot himself because it was
is
all
this?
in my playthrough. It
This is
always revealed. Yeah,
Amanda taking over, right?
yeah, man is taking over. But yeah, you have secured the secure future of CyberLife as basically the leader of the androids and shit because you're their only leader now. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I like that, and it actually did make sense. He doesn't want to be controlled by CyberLife, and he doesn't want to control everyone, just like how basically
Wait, so
how
y-
Marcus
so
controlled. Yeah,
so
yeah,
is what most people, because I've seen so many playthroughs
yeah,
of this game. What most people, when they are able to like reach the thing in time and
yeah,
get control of themselves, but they accidentally shoot Marcus,
yeah.
they just lower their hand. Like, oh, I was doing that.
Oh wait, shoot
Um,
Marcus?
yeah.
I didn't get that.
Oh, because he sacrificed himself.
Yeah, I sacrificed myself.
Okay, wait, hold on. So what the fuck? Wait, so why did Connor shoot himself?
Oh, because basically it was revealed, that it was all orchestrated by CyberLife. So androids are now
Mhm.
basically living free, and now they only have one leader, which is Connor. So CyberLife takes control of Connor because apparently they can do that, and all the androids
Yeah,
follow Connor. And
yeah, that's Amanda.
yeah,
That's Amanda.
yeah. So basically, they're following CyberLife or Amanda or whatever. And Connor was like, "Oh shit, that's not a good thing. That shit's evil." Bang.
Mhm.
So he's no longer being controlled. There's no leader for the androids that they have to follow. So CyberLife doesn't control shit. That was basically it. It's a mess.
It is a mess.
Kara's ending was like, eh, it's alright. It's alright. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. Well, it's alright. But I did realize there are a lot of people I got killed in my playthrough that apparently didn't need to get killed.
For example,
One of them, first one, actually was Simon.
Luther.
Simon,
Oh,
actually.
Simon.
Yeah, Simon.
Yeah, yeah. So what happens is that you can,
It was on
here's
the.
something fucked up. Wait,
Mhm.
should I spoil? Because you're gonna be replaying this game.
I mean, I already played it. I honestly, I googled some things already, so I already know some of the things.
Okay, so the thing about Simon is that if you don't kill him, he is hiding up on the rooftop in like a vent somewhere.
Yeah.
So the only way that Simon can live is if Connor doesn't check that vent, effectively missing content. Which means that in order for Simon to live, you must never interact with him. And the fucked up thing is that Simon has 0 screen time afterwards. So if you just completely missed the fact that Simon was there, you wouldn't even know that Simon is still alive or not,
Yeah, no, that's one thing that kind
which
of
is fucked.
they didn't
And
explain that
also,
when I googled it. They just said, "Oh yeah, Simon. If you spare him, he pops up later as alive." Huh?
no, he doesn't. That's a fucking lie. Unless you specifically check the vent as Connor, find Simon, and then imprison him and maim him. Only half of his body is remaining.
Wait, fuck. You can do that as
Yes,
Connor?
no. That's just how he appears, like
Oh,
on the evidence wall. And also, his eyes are fucked up, so he's blind. So
shit.
yeah, it's like, oh, if Simon's alive, in order to see Simon again, you must commit war crimes and maim him so bad that he cannot move. He's pinned to a wall by a stake and is blind. Otherwise, just kill him. And at that point, I'm like, if
Wait,
my
oh
choice
god.
is to let Simon live
Cause like,
and not see him ever again, I may as well just kill him.
cause like
Because to
the
the
thing
story, he's effectively dead.
I saw, according to the wiki, because that's where I looked shit up. On Marcus's playthrough, if you spare Marcus, not Marcus, Simon on the roof after he gets injured, he
Mhm.
will, and Connor doesn't find him, he will pop up back in Jericho. Completely,
Here's that.
literally, like, unscathed, basically fine. Like, sup, guys?
Yeah,
Like,
unfortunately,
mhm.
that does not happen.
Fuck, I've been lied to. But, and here's a funny thing also. It's also pointless because he still dies later on in the final scenes.
What?
He still eventually dies. Like if you take let's say if you take the revolution route, he still gets shot. He
What
gets
about the
shot.
peaceful route? Does he live?
He still gets shot.
Oh my god.
He dies regardless. But I still felt bad because because I was like thinking in my head, oh shit, I want to save Simon. I don't want to kill anyone. I don't want to leave him for dead. But North makes a good point. They might find Jericho if we leave him here. Motherfucker, if we leave him, fuck. If we leave him there, we just never see him again. That's it. Fuck. So me shooting him was pointless. And also Jerry, I got Jerry killed.
Yeah, but there's like a million Jerrys, so
Yeah, but I still felt bad because like
I feel like the Jerrys are a hive mind. They are not
no,
individuals.
yeah, that one I agree with. That is they're definitely a hive mind, which would make sense because they worked in an amusement park. It makes sense for them to be a hive mind.
Mhm.
But like, because apparently you don't need to sacrifice anyone if you went for the peaceful demonstration. The Canadian Border Patrol will literally just, oh yeah, you guys are alive, come on through. But I was like, ah shit, I don't know if they're gonna let me through. Jerry,
Yeah,
I
but
choose you.
ever
You
since
sacrifice.
the ever since the your Excalibur video about like, oh yeah, why isn't there like a picture graph of like
that's another
every
thing.
single mass
Produced.
reproduced android ever?
Yeah, damn, that also makes a lot of sense. Jesus, there are a lot of glaring issues. At first, honestly, I would give the game. I would have given the game like 8 out of 10. After watching this, it's alright. It's more like a
It's more
5.
like a
It's a
4, like a 4.5,
yeah,
maybe. Like
a
the reason
strong
why it's a
4.5.
4.5 is purely for like the graphical and like gameplay,
Yeah,
and also Connor and Hank. Like Connor and Hank carry
they
like
carry.
3 of those 4.5 points. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a it had so much potential.
Oh no! I got the perfect analogy. It's a Marvel movie. It looks great,
Yes, actually, you're
but it's
right.
missing like actual
Substance.
story,
It's mission
and
substance.
could have been. It's missing substance, and it could have been truly great, but it is not.
It just stopped short
That
of
is
it.
what Marvel is at right now
Yeah,
after Endgame.
it could have been such a good damn. Honestly, though, since David Cage is improving, like the games of Quantum Dreams are improving slowly. I can't wait till they get to a point where they have like something. They don't even have to go with like 85 different endings. I'm okay with like 10 different endings, or even 5, or
Yeah.
just one ending. I want their quality to get better. If they can do something with at least 10 endings, but really high quality stories, best fucking game. I'm gonna love the shit out of it.
I think I'm finally going to sleep.
You're gonna knock yourself out.
All right. Good night.
Good night. All right, I guess I guess I'm going back to Overwatch. So yeah, I apologize for a bit of a detour there. It's this type of stuff really fascinates me. I love it. This is the type of stuff that just really piques my interest. I'm just gonna. Oh wait, Nate, have you seen my? I have a VTubing camera thing. I have a thing set up for that. Let me just open it. I love it. It's fun. Let me just grab it. I hope you're still there. If not, because I'm just talking to nobody and I'm lonely. What the? That has no sound. Oh yeah, because I muted it. Fuck, I'm an idiot. There we go. Scream. Type something in the chat if you're still there. Otherwise, I feel lonely. Okay, wait. Oh shoot, I forgot to put in this one. There we go. Okay, wait, let's. Hello? Are you still there? I'm gonna go back to playing Overwatch comp. I hope you're still there because I'm lonely. I'm guessing you're not there no more. Which I get. I've been streaming for quite a bit already. It's been a while. It's been a couple hours. Okay. Now look at this. I got an Omen model. Aw. Yeah, and I guess you're not here no more, which is fine. I'm used to being alone. Why did I get so depressing all of a sudden? It's legitimately fine because I have been streaming for quite a long time already. This is like an endurance theme or some shit. I don't have work right now. It comes. My work is like in 5 hours or something. So like, yeah, 5 hours or something. How long have I been streaming? Shit, nearly 3 hours. Honestly, I really want to do this a long time. I don't think I'm entertaining, but I want to give it a shot. It's something that interests me. So I want to. It would really mean a lot if I was able to do this for a while, because let's join that. Practice a little bit.
Now traveling to Busan. Prepare for battle. Select your hero.
Every soldier needs a cause.
I'm here to support you, but you have to put in the work. Over here.
Safety's off. It's a cruel world out there.
That was my FPS. It's like pretty alright. Not the worst thing in the world.
3, 2, 1.
I think with the VTuber camera on, I have to like turn the resolution down or something, because it's not reaching the max FPS it usually does. Which is of course a shame.
Over there.
So look at my angle.
Thanks.
Oh shit, shit, shit. Fuck. Shit. Shit, fuck! I was right next to him. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna switch off the VTuber camera for now until I figure this stuff out. Yeah,
I've seen tougher
switch
spots.
scenes to the one without it and close this. Yeah. There you go. That's all better. There you go. There's the FPS I was looking for.
We're outnumbered. Stay sharp. Thanks. Come get healed.
Oh shit.
Taking the objective. Get over here.
That was nice.
Good choice.
Good team fight. Falling behind a bit. Might have to go Genji to counter the Bastion, so I can start deflecting their shit. If they know Genji, he just has free lane. Fuck! I hit her shield, not her. So I hit the ground behind her. Damn right, I'm supposed to drop the Genji. So I can switch to Genji so I can counter the Bastion. Right now he has free reign. Zarya isn't the best pick against a Bastion. It's obviously. Actually, I honestly don't know what tech would be a good pick, but I don't think it's Genji. I don't think it's Zarya. Because I think you see his turret mode fires so fast. It's basically like a burst fire. It's like a burst damage right there.
Hello.
I aim
Let's see if I can
to
get a good
devastate.
early pick with Widowmaker. I don't think I'm a bad shot with her, so I think it's might be beneficial.
4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Привет. Привет. All we have to do is win another. Привет. Hey. Enemy spotted.
My bite is fatal.
Over here.
The objective is now active.
Capturing the point. I need help. What's the rush? Привет.
Engage this enemy. A deadly fragrance.
Ah, the Saints in the way.
Over there. On my way. Привет.
You better not pick Pharah, because what the fuck was he thinking?
It's go time.
Fire at will.
Over there. Annoying.
Yes. Hi. Hello. Физкульт,
My
привет.
little insect.
Yes.
No one can hide from my sight.
Hello.
What the fuck is he doing? What are you doing? Do not. I see you, Kiriko. There you are.
Heroes never
Ah,
die.
shit.
Rally to me.
Watch your legs, man.
Superbe.
Oh shit. They're finally starting to pressure me. One thing about Widow is I consider she's really good at applying pressure because of like stuff like that. They couldn't cross into the middle, which is like the easiest way to get there. It's not a choke point. But with me there, they had a hard time crossing into it.
They outnumber us. Watch out.
Yeah, there it is. Alright, let's pick someone who counters them very well. Genji's a good counter.
It's go time.
Shit.
The enemy surrounds us.
Group up here. Yes. Hi. Over there.
Come on, come on, we can do this, we can do this. I believe in us. I already have 58 charge.
Attack the objective.
We just gotta go for it. There's no time to waste.
I am healed.
Fuck. I didn't have my deflect. If I had my deflect, we could have maybe won that. Dang. That was just weird. I don't know if that was good timing, bad timing by me, or good timing by them. It was something. That's for sure.
1-1.
I wonder who's my one viewer. If so, I apologize for the terrible gameplay you're watching right now.
The rise the storm.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Hello.
Hello.
This is the final stand. Make it count.
No holding back.
Come on.
I thank you.
The objective is now.
Enemy seen.
Our objective
I am healed. Over here.
What the f- Okay, now I see where people hate that. He was so far from me and it still tracked.
Got a bird.
Is that bullshit, man?
Nana Korobi Yaoki.
My ultimate is charging. Привет.
I'm gonna wait for Kiriko's ultimate.
It's go time.
Enemy here.
Okay, use their ult. It's good of me. Made him use his ult. It's good. I can do it.
The objective is in my hands.
Team kill.
Be careful. Eyes here. Enemy seen. I see one.
What? The fuck? I hit the button. I hit the button. I hit E, but it didn't deflect anything. What is that bullshit?
Finally, a real challenge.
Yes, it's just over. McCree's weak. I would argue McCree's weak blue again. She's not about the ult. She's not about the ult. Oh shit. He's gonna pop the ult. He's gonna pop the ult. That was a GG. That was a good game. I think I played fairly well. I kept up with damage, even though Genji isn't really a player. Isn't really a hero I play. Yeah, I kept up. I would say kept up. Was able to find it. I find the counter picks pretty decent. I would say at the. Also, like, some of you might question my crosshair for Genji, but I feel like it's a good crosshair. Good crosshair. Like, if you pay attention to it, look, look where the Ninja Stars lands. They always pretty much land at the very edge of the crosshair. That's where they land, like at the tip of it. That's where the Ninja Stars land. They very much land on the sides of the crosshair, which is a very nice way to indicate, I would say. Let's see. I put it over here. It still hits, and it has the dots, so you could if you want to go left click.
Precision is the way of the effective warrior.
Very good way to aim, I'd say. Another thing that some people don't know, or some people don't know, I would say, is since the way projectiles hitbox work, it's not pinpoint. It's much wider, especially with Ninja Stars. See, like you're aiming way off to the side. That counts as a headshot with a wider hitbox. So this is one. That's damage of one shuriken hitting. But imagine if you hit like 2. Look at that, a huge damage difference. So that's my tip. If you're not a good Genji, is
I am healed.
Even if you're not good Genji, it's a good thing to keep in mind. If you want to learn how to play Genji, try to aim a bit off to the side. Don't aim straight on. Don't go don't run straight on. Especially when out of this distance, of course. But let's say you're going here, only one hits. Only one hits. But if you aim a bit off to the side, like right here, shit, no, like this.
This is the end for you.
That 2 of them hit. No. There you go. That's one. For sure. Yeah. See, 2 hits.
Fear the
2
focused
headshots.
warrior.
2 headshot registrations, so that enables a better burst damage when you use right click, and if you're not super close range. Another thing is you could do a nice little combo there.
Welcome to Junker. Prepare your
That
defenses.
is if you're up close, you can do a right click dash right click. It's very good, I would say. It's very good. I'm gonna go with it. It's an expected pick on Junkertown defense. It's a very good. It's a very expected pick, but for a reason, it's a very good pick, I would say. Someone like you want someone with range, at least one person with range on defense here, because it's a long opening part of the section, very large open, very few cover to hide from. If you don't have a shield, it's very hard as a squishy to walk up. Try and look for oh, that shit goes through. Nice. Try and look for something cheeky. Yeah, that works. I can find something cheeky. Great.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Sorry to do this.
1.
Alright.
Attackers incoming.
Comme c'est aimable de ta part.
Stop the pain.
What the fuck is happening?
Little girls have no place on the battlefield. We are outnumbered. Watch where you step. No one can hide from my sight. That's better.
Oh shit. I might be.
You must like me. A trail of blood. Engage this enemy.
Fuck! What is it? Tank doing?
Suppress this target. You should watch where you're going.
Oh shit! Right.
Your engine. Fall back.
What?
You must like having me around. My next kill. No one can hide from my sight. There goes your other eye. Just what I needed.
My ultimate is almost
Might be a DPS. Tank definitely. Because and doing my job as a DPS, we're way better honestly. We're classy than nearly every part.
Breathe deep.
Misery made surrender to my will.
They outnumber us. Watch out.
Yeah. have yeah, I might maybe
Someone needs to fill this
I'll
saddle.
go McCree here, so I can do combat. Let's see. I think he's good. Very good right out. There's no one to protect. There's no one to protect the squishies.
Learn that one from
Persistence is always rewarded.
Wow, it's my aim. My aim seems a lot better today, honestly. Better than usual, cause I already reached 99%. That's I'm not that. I don't play McCree that often, so it's very easy. I don't jinx that.
No one can hold me down. Thanks, Doc. Thank you kindly. My ultimate's ready.
I'm ready to. Oh, he switched off Genji. That's perfect. Perfect. No counter. Oh, no one's a hard counter to me. That's another thing about McCree. A lot of people think it's like, oh, they try to go for kills with McCree's ult. Like, yeah, it's great for getting kills because it's an instant kill if it locks on. But if it locks on, it's more of a zoning kill, I believe.
Thanks, Doc.
10 seconds.
That was a GG right there.
They're all down. That was some fine work.
Oh, wait, no, not GG. I almost said GG. Oh, god, that almost looked super toxic. I meant to say good round. Good round. That was a good round. Not a good.
Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
Alright, let's give it a shot. I think Hanzo. Because I feel like they're expecting Widow, so I'm gonna go Hanzo. So I could like, take off angles and stuff like that.
Honor is all I have left.
I've met mozzies with more brains than you folks.
With all due respect, milady, I believe that's a knock against the Junkertown education system.
We've got an education system?
Love that question. Oh, wait, let's do a bit of dancing.
I've got this rash that won't go away. I've tried everything. Radiation, dirt, radioactive dirt.
Have you tried bandaging your mouth?
Would that help?
It'd help me.
Oh god, I love the interactions in Overwatch 2. They're so fun.
5, 4, 3,
I love them.
2, 1. Attack commencing.
Scanning.
Escort the payload.
I'm gonna switch to Ash.
I'm the last one you'll ever cross.
Fuck, I can't do shit.
She's gonna blow!
Nice, at least we got jump right here. Switch Oh, I messed that up. Let's try and take some speed here. Since our tank is not pleasant.
Let me handle it.
Shit, oh, they're back behind us.
Payload's all mine. Let's move.
Oh shit. My sniping with ashes come off. I think it's my sensitivity.
You won't get the best of me.
Are you trying to my sense or something? Because usually I'm actually better with ash than
Does
normally would.
anyone care about moving the payload? Enemy spotted! Enemy!
That was a block. Beautiful.
I'm taking the payload. Whew.
Group up with me.
Checking in. Not to worry. Thank you kindly. I needed that. My I get the idea.
Fuck.
I know one thing. Someone's gonna pay.
Trying to get up position, in good position for Bob. But then,
60 seconds remaining. My ultimate is ready.
Bob.
Right on the money. Never die. Bob, do something. 30 seconds remaining. There's one
Go for
here.
it.
Attaboy, Bob.
My thanks. The payload has reached the
My coals are red hot. She's gonna blow. There's a test subject. Hey, catch!
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bob's not ready yet.
That's a good ball. I'll put him behind. So I'm trying to get to the high ground up top, so they're very little high.
She's gonna blow! Want me in the reaction. Payload's in my hands. This one.
I cannot be dragon surge is ready. A taste of poison.
My sights.
Fuck.
60 seconds.
You're caught. Yeah, that's like a window. Yeah. No.
again.
Yeah, that was good. Great fucking mercy for well, I'll play like more games. I'm gonna get off. Oh shit, damn, we did try that.
For the bullshit! Oh, that was mine.
Welcome to Circuit Royale.
We're back. Okay. Yeah, that's a good widow for the first few picks, I guess. I mean, I've been doing pretty well with her recently.
I aim to devastate.
More field research. Grand.
Some of y'all wondering, like, if I've eaten yet, the answer would be no. I have not eaten
You
a
don't mind me
drop of
asking,
food at all.
what is your armor made of?
Your father has my blueprints. Why don't you see for yourself? I'd hate to spoil the surprise.
More to do, more to learn.
I didn't know that worked. I don't know what happens if Reinhardt swings his hammer at it. Be funny. Yep. let's switch. Phone with higher DPS. Who are there next? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Farah.
Every soldier needs a
Farah
cause.
is a good choice. Because it's kind of hard to hit.
Taking to the air. Repulsion. Concussive out.
That's how it's done.
Dispersing.
Where's the healing? Is no one looking? Oh shit, we don't have any. Shit, we need to. We need. Honestly, I think we the way there. Our supports need to switch. We're trying to counter them. Not a good choice.
Repulsion. I'm on top of the world. Appreciate it. Aerial positioning underway. This ends now.
Meet your fate.
Taking off. Blast it. I see an enemy.
Enemy turret detected.
Scatter. Thanks for the upgrade. Turret detected.
I thought they were too rough. Oh shit! Oh.
My ultimate is almost ready.
We need to switch.
Up and away.
I'm gonna pop my ult and then I'm gonna switch off.
Returning to battle.
Hostile spotted.
Turret detected.
Shit, that's a dead sentence.
Turret down. Establishing aerial position.
We need to be able to get close to pop the ult. So that maximum out.
Making another approach.
I think it's. Fuck, healers! What's Moira doing? Why is she always dying? Where is she placing herself? Why is Bridget that far out?
All
It's a
systems
genuine
nominal.
question.
En route.
Enemy turret ahead.
Enemy turret destroyed.
How did he not die? That was just confusing bullshit right there. Alright.
Fire at will. Always more to learn.
Plenty of bombs
Let's
to
get
go
rid of that.
around.
Functions at peak power. I'm on the payload.
Score 3-0. Switching sides. Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
Plenty of bombs to go around.
Much lies in store. Let us see to it.
Let's go, let's go, let's go! Fly, my little friend!
Trying to
5,
up mid.
4, 3,
Let's go, let's go!
1. Attackers incoming. A taste of poison. Stop the pain. Enemy target located.
No? I probably just heard probably should make the stop instead of the left side. No, where would he go to the left side?
Buckle my shoe! There's mayhem to do!
What the fuck?
situation calls for more bombs. Fly, my little friend! Blasting off!
Oh.
I've got your back. Cheers! Let me help you with that. Oh, much better. Don't tell anyone.
A taste of poison.
Привет.
I got both their healers. That's good. You need to switch off Echo. Yeah, Echo is good.
Let's give it a fair shake, mate.
And she's an underrated hero for sure, but she's not good. She flies. She's very hard to tough to play against. There's so many good soldiers. I'll go play the game. Oh, really? Again? What did I do? Oh, my new rank. Come on, let's see it. Silver 2, hell yeah. Good Echo, good Zarya. Can't hit it. Okay, I'm gonna do one last thing.
Fucking over this shit! Fuck! Fuck this driveway, man! It's not fucking cool! And it's
The devil.
Prepare for battle.
If you're wondering what it's on,
Select your hero.
That's me going through Twitter. We still watching? Honestly, like I love you, but damn, wasn't expecting someone would even still be watching. It's a surprise to me. Just being honest, it's a real big surprise to me. That's how close. Let's have someone fire. It's not very. I'll go mid-range.
Soldier needs a cause.
I'm surprised someone's still watching.
The
It means a
delta
lot.
M of a given ray Q is
Thank you.
approximately.
5,
The formula escapes me.
3, 2, 1.
What the fuck is looking available?
Unlocks in 30 seconds.
Let's win. Let's get to those. Alright, everyone. Let's go. shit.
on an enemy.
Taste of poison.
Tango spot.
Yep.
Thanks. Got eyes on an enemy.
Oh shit, I didn't get the second.
Push the robot. Biotics deployed. Over here.
Okay, well, I did not go. Oh, where's she? Oh, right here.
Lead acquired. Good start. Tango spot. Heals. Thanks. An enemy appeared. Enemy vector calculated.
As long as they know where they are, I'm always gonna try and help them.
The barricade proceeds.
Oh shit.
That's better.
Fuck, got stuck. We need someone to counter. What's up, Mel? When I pop Mel, I'm gonna switch to Reaper, someone who can deal with Winston a lot better. Soldier's not the best pick. You need someone that can either interrupt him on the way to his dive, or beat him in while mid-dive. That's what you're at.
Careful, there's more of them than us.
Fuck. What happened to my health there? Damn. Got shredded.
They can't get away with this.
They must not outpace us.
Ah, shit.
That's better. They've got the lead. Let's hustle. Not good enough. My ultimate is ready.
My blade is ready to be unleashed.
I've got you in my sights. Pulse munitions delivered to targets. Eyes open. Let's go. Smithereens.
My ultimate is ready.
You can't beat me. I'll try to repay the favor. Keep pushing. It's not far to take the lead. Got eyes on an enemy. Hostile here. Pushing ahead. Oh. The rocket gotcha. We've taken the lead.
It's a good team because we know what we have to focus on.
Tango spot. I've got meds. Who needs them? I've been doing this for years. Who the hell are you?
Approaching the final destination.
Enemy
Surrender to my will. Approaching the final destination. Victory. Play of the game.
She's gonna blow! I can always count on you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, well, I think I'm gonna end this stream here. Well, even though I got one viewer, I hope you have a wonderful day, and anyone who watches the VOD also has a wonderful day. Glad to have some people in the chat at least. See ya. Till next time.